We're at the Microsoft EDU What's New June 2023 edition. My name is Mike Tholfsen. I work on the Microsoft Education product team, and there are a bunch of other product managers on the call today, and we're going to be talking about all the latest and greatest stuff. And so we'll be covering Teams first, then M365 EDU next, and then some Q&A. Also, there's a link to this deck at the end, so if you want to get a copy of this deck, it will be public and also in the YouTube video. So first off, I'm going to turn it over to Samantha Fisher. She's coming at us from Brooklyn, New York. And Samantha, the presentation is all yours.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Mike. Super happy to be here with you this evening or morning or wherever, whatever time it is, wherever you're at. So I'm going to be talking about some new Microsoft Teams updates and then also doing a live demo of our Classwork app that I've talked to you all about before. So the first update is we're introducing Viva connections for education now, which is really exciting. So if you've heard of the Viva suite, we're bringing that to education with Viva connections, which allows a school to customize a dashboard of all of the resources their students or faculty might want to have. And this could be for K-12 or higher ed institutions. So being able to show students things like the classes they're taking, the assignments they have, as well as the tuition payments they might have due, any scholarships they have available, all the way to the cafeteria menu for whatever's being served at school that day. So it's very customizable. You can aggregate all of the information a student might want to see, streamline their experience, and help them stay connected to everything that's happening at the university with things like announcements, events, everything that might be coming up. So that's the really cool thing about Viva Connections. You can customize it to make sure it's serving the needs of your school and your students. I'll tab forward a little bit just to show an example of what this could look like for this college here. You have, all of these different things that I mentioned. You have financial information, you have class information, course information, you have the mobile version and the desktop version, and that's within Teams. So yeah, let us know if you want to learn more. I'll drop a feedback link in the chat later. We're also introducing the new Teams. We're really excited about the new Teams. It runs 2 times faster. It uses 50% fewer resources on your computer, so it's going to be snappier, faster, easier. There's some cool flexibility and customization features too. Leif has already posted in the Q&A what the rollout structure of the new Teams is going to be, but this is one that we're really excited about. You'll be able to, everyone here will be able to widely test it coming September of this year, so you can kind of opt in to test it and try the new Teams experience this September. It's already in private preview for our TAP community, but yeah, coming later this year, everyone will be able to try it, and then it'll be the new default starting next year. And then lastly, I want to talk about Microsoft Teams Premium as well, which is a new add-on that, as you can see here, it's available for purchase. So there is an additional cost associated with it, but it brings with it a lot of additional benefits, mostly centered around the meetings experience, everything from AI-powered meeting recap to high quality webinars. It's a brand new webinars experience, advanced protection and security information, easy scheduling of one-on-ones, meeting templates, branding, all sorts of things. So it's just our best experience so far for meetings. So if your school still does a lot of hybrid learning and hybrid meetings, you really might want to take a look at Microsoft Teams Premium. I will also post a link in the chat after I'm done presenting with a blog post where you can learn more about the details of Microsoft Teams Premium. Teams Classwork is officially in private preview with our TAP community. We're so excited about this. It's coming later this summer for everybody, so we will be GAing this summer, which is really exciting. And we're super excited for everyone to get to try it. Right now, if you are in our TAP community, you do have early access to try this out, which is awesome. So yeah, really, really excited about Classwork. It's our new curriculum management app that sits in the left rail of a team. It saves educators time by allowing them to bring together resources from all over a class team, create and organize everything in one place, and then it really empowers students to find everything that they need. So I'm going to do a quick demo of what it looks like in the live code. So I'm really excited about this. So as you can see, I'm in the new Classwork app here. I'm in a chemistry team. And I have this module that I've already created. As you can see, when I collapse it, I can see that there's an assignment, a notebook page, 2 files, and a channel. So already awesome. I can see that summary, and I can also see that it's published, but I'll walk you through the process of creating a brand new module. So what Classwork does is it allows educators to organize their content into modules. So in this case, let me do we'll do an intro to chemistry module. So I can do it by topics, I can do it by weeks, I can do it, in any sort of way that I might want to. The modules are really flexible to support however the educator wants to organize it. I can give this a description, I can add emojis, I can make it all sorts of fun. But for the purposes of this demo, I'll just call this one Intro to Chemistry. As you can see right now, it's a draft module, so it's not visible to my students yet. That's what that means. Only my co-educators can see this right now, and when I'm ready for my students to see it, I can publish it. Now, once it's published, we got this question last time, I can still make modifications, I can still edit content, drag and drop, rearrange, but yeah, it'll just be visible to my students after I choose to publish. So here I can add an existing assignment from this class. I'll show what this looks like. I can also create a brand new assignment or a new quiz here as well. So let me add this assignment, and now this will get added to this module, and I can keep adding content in this way. So for example, I can create a brand new file or upload a file that I already have. So for all of these, what you'll see is I have the ability to either create that brand new content, start here, start in Classwork, or if I've already created my content somewhere else, we want to be super flexible and support that as well, which is awesome. I can select a couple things at a time here, which is exciting. Here we go. I'm going to attach a couple of different resources here. I can also drag and drop and rearrange anything that I want. I can rearrange the resources, and then I can also rearrange the modules as well. So if I wanted this module to be at the top because it's the intro to the chemistry module, I can do that really easily. I can also add a link to a channel here. So as you'll see, I actually already have an intro to chemistry channel, which is awesome. So I'll add that. Now this is a super easy way for my students to find the channel where we will be discussing this topic. I can add a link as well. Actually, I should grab a URL before I do that. Give me a second. But I have a couple good options pulled up here. I have Khan Academy. I have a crash course video, but let me grab this Khan Academy link. So I can easily link to external resources as well. I love Khan Academy. Absolutely saved me in college. So there you go. I have a link. I have all of these different resources here. I can add, as I mentioned, files, assignments, class notebook pages, channels, and then rearrange all of this. I can, pin whatever module we're working on right now to the top of the list. But I'll also show you what this looks like. I can go ahead and publish this Intro to Chemistry module. It'll give me this warning that everything is going to be available to my students. And there you go. So that is my Classwork demo. We're really excited to start getting more feedback from everyone. And yeah, we're excited for you to get this in your hands and to have you using it.
And next up, we have Emma Gray coming to you from Vancouver, Canada, changing countries now. And Emma's going to demo and talk about search progress. So Emma, all yours.
So hey everybody, I have spoken about Search Coach before, but I'm very excited today to chat more about search progress. We're happy to announce we're in private preview, and if you're interested in registering your class for this feature, there's a link there that will bring you into our Teams community, and you'll find everything you need to register yourself there. Now, the whole point of search progress is to build Search Coach into the assignments structure. And so teachers will get extra transparency into students' research processes, and students will have an opportunity to be rewarded not just for the product of their research, like an essay or a presentation, but also their process, so their reflection every step of the way. And I'm going to be demoing that feature set for you today. All right, so here I am in my Sciences 4 class. This is my test class. And as a teacher, I am going to navigate to the Assignments tab. Once that loads, I'm going to click Create an Assignment. And this is all pretty familiar, hopefully, to those of you who are watching who use Teams for your assignments. And today we're going to talk about astronaut food, which is our favorite Search Coach example as well. Now, I've added a description here. Search the internet to find details about how astronauts survive in space. For the purposes of this demo, we'll be super quick. We'll say select one trustworthy source and explain why you chose it. Because I pasted this in, I'm just going to erase that formatting there to make sure that everything looks good for my students. And now I'm going to attach this brand new attachment here, Search Progress in Preview. So we will get this to load. Here we are. So what I can see here on the left is Search Coach, as you would expect to see it. And this is here so that if I haven't played with Search Coach recently and I want to practice, I can look up anything here. We have a full functional Search Coach here for teachers who want to play with it before assigning it to their students. I can choose the number of sources I would like my students to find. So today I'm going to choose one. My explanation can be customized. So this is for every source a student collects. Describe why you saved it. I think that's pretty good. I could ask what their favorite fact was from the resource. I could ask, if we're going into more information literacy things, who funds this website? Anything there, the explanation is there for you to customize. And then there's also a reflection. Look at all your searches. Which one was the most helpful? Now think as a teacher, you can customize this as well. Which ones were the least helpful? Can you which of the top 2 sources do you think you'll be using in next week's assignment and why? So this is all very customizable. As a teacher, you can turn them on and off. And once I'm happy with everything, I can hit next to finalize, double check my title and my description. That all looks good. And I'm going to hit assign. Now we're going to change over to our student view. This lovely student is in dark mode. And I'm going to see that my search coach teacher added an assignment. Wow, that's exciting. So we're going to go here and we are going to see an astronaut food assignment. Now, this is the pretty standard assignments experience, nothing new or flashy here, but we'll click into my work. And what we will see is Search Coach, as we expect to see it, with a new sidebar that I can collapse if I want to focus. But this holds my assignment instructions and also a collection pile for the sources themselves. And so our team is lovingly be calling this the shopping cart as we work through things. So I'm a student, I'm going to look up, so what do astronauts eat? And what this is, we'll go here. And I'm going to add a domain filter because I know that that's a good way to get trustworthy information from the sites I'm wanting to look for. So I'm going to apply my .gov filter here, and I'm going to click search. Now, what you can see here is a number of results like you would expect in Search Coach. And say I'm going to go into space food fact sheets. I'll click this here. It'll open up in a new tab in my browser and I'll be able to navigate down. Now, this looks pretty good. I kind of like this source. It's got all sorts of things here. It's got a bunch of resources and also an artist rendering. That's cool. So maybe I want to add this source because it has a great rendering and I want to trust it. So this one's green now that I have selected it, and I can save it as a source here and describe why I saved it. That I'll use in my essay. Awesome. Okay, well, navigating back to our space food fact sheets, there's also a PDF here that looks really interesting, but I didn't search for this PDF on Search Progress. So how am I going to include this in my assignment? I'm glad that I asked. So we're going to jump over here and we're going to add a source found without searching. I've copied the URL from that PDF page. I can say I found it in my NASA article. I can paste the URL and I can give an explanation. This provides additional information. Does it describe why I saved this source? If I'm a student, I probably wouldn't get a great grade on this one because I'm not being very introspective, but that's how we're going to go today. Now, metacognition, this reflection on my process, is something that studies have shown really helps with the critical thinking skill development in students. And so we're excited that this is an opportunity here. We'll hit next, and what you can see here is that I only did one search. I opened one website and I saved that source. So that's a pretty, direct application of my search skills here. If I had done multiple searches, they would have shown up in a whole list here, and I would have a chance to reflect on which source was the most helpful. The only one I did is the one that I am going to showcase today. But as a student, then I can review all of my justifications. I can take a look at all of my searches here, and I'm going to hit done. We're going to hit turn in because we've completed the assignment. Love the rocket ship. Back to our teacher view, and we'll navigate over to ready to grade. And we'll check on our student performance here. So one search. Saved sources, our astronaut food is here, and we can see the fact sheets and the PDF. So I actually added 2 sources here because I wanted to show you the external source and how to save that. And that is our search progress. I can enter my feedback and grades like you would normally expect. And stay tuned for more features in search progress coming in the upcoming months before we release for back to school. And that's everything for me.
Okay, a couple of updates that I'll be talking about on reading progress. Right now, we have the reading with expression in private preview. So if you're on the private preview, you'll see this little new expression tab in reading progress. We highlight things like monotone and things about expression for punctuation. The other thing that we're going to be actively working on is integrating insights directly in. So if you saw right here, we're going to start making these cards clickable, where you can now pull up the card when you click on it. So if I go here and I click on that little card, you'll be able to now get a little pop-up insight. So that is reading with expression. That's in private preview. We also announced, and this will be coming in probably a few weeks in a private preview, comprehension questions to go along with reading progress. That's been our #1 request. So we're going to have that in private preview in probably a few weeks and being testing it over the summer. And then lastly, we have another private preview with generating reading passages for reading progress based on how the student was reading. And the generate passage is using generative AI. And so what that means is we analyze the passage, we know what words were most mispronounced, and then we can generate a new passage that's tailored just to the words that your class was mispronouncing. So you can automatically generate passages based on the most mispronounced words in that word cloud. And now I'm going to hand it off to Leif Brenne. So Leif, take it away.
Thank you very much, Mike. I'm going to talk about a set of new updates for assignments, grades, Reflect in our like this Office Writer for us. The first thing is a new view in assignment list view, which is called Ready to Grade. So I heard a lot of feedback from teachers that want to have like one view to go to, you can see actually what I need to do next. And the Ready to Grade is that view, basically. It's a view to see everything that lists any assignments that has submission that need to actually return and feedback onto students. So kind of one view, either in a class or across all your classes as well. That is now to everybody, has that functionality already. The second thing we're doing, we updated the quiz experiences. So we talked a little bit about forms in several places here about comprehension questions, those things, but a lot of people use the quizzes directly, and we didn't have the ability for us to before to do find your shared quizzes and also your organization in forms. So we added ability directly into our creation experience, as well as quickly see if any assignments are done for time quizzes as well. Next, we adding a lot of functionality inside Gradebook the last couple of months. We added grading categories, we added average grade, we added ability coming soon for different grading schemes like letter-based grading. As part of this work, we want to make it more functional for you as a teacher in the Gradebook as well, and adding the ability to bookmark filters. You can make filters for like your fall semester, your winter semester, only show assignments that has for certain grading categories, and save those, and will work across any device you have. And we'll actually make a default view as well directly with Gradebook. So a quicker way for you to see all the grades and assignments you care about. And also we add an ability for student preview. So when you create assignments, you know, an ability for you to actually, before you publish the work, see the preview for how the student view directly into assignments. Let's do a demo. So this is the kind of experience for quizzes. So if I go to create quiz right now, we now have the ability to see kind of my quizzes, the shared quizzes I have myself, any favorite quizzes as well. And for my quizzes in Teams or in Forms, you have the ability to create collections of quizzes. You can organize things by your unit you're working on. There's your math unit around numbers of operations. You have one for solve equations, things. You can group all the quizzes into one place, which makes it great to reuse those quizzes again and again across your classes, across different years as well. So in this case, let's say I want to do something under my quizzes around algebra quiz. I can see now also easily indicate that this is now a 30-minute quiz. And I can add to my assignment. And if I want to see how this works for students directly, we have now added ability for us to preview students. I will just open up this particular assignment in the student mode, and I can see what they see if I add instructions as well. And also I can try out the quiz as well. So I can just go directly into assignment, view the quiz, and try it out and time the time quiz in the first place. So it's a great way to kind of get for you to see what you're sharing with the students before you're actually sharing it. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about was the ability for retrograde and pass through. So retrograde is a new tab we added here and said before, this shows you all assignments that has submission that you can return. So in this case, I have an essay. I can click on it. This is one student has submitted work for me. I click on one here, and I can automatically go and grade that particular student and do the work directly. So it's going to quick way to do those things. That works not only inside a class, but across all classes in your assignment for yourself, as all my assignments refer places, everything that's ready to grade from me across classes. So it's a very quick way to see all your classes work coming off yourself. The last thing I want to look at is the grade tab. So we added a lot of work lately, I said in the gradebook, but now we added ability to actually add default filters. So this is my filtering for my, my fall semester. We can actually bookmark those things here. It can become my fall semester. If I want to have this to be only including, for instance, only my assessment categories. Add a new filter here. And make a new filter with, fall for assessment. And that will give you only those assignments in your gradebook as well. So quick way of doing it. And every time you go into your grade tab, it will default back to the default, which is what the default does, right? Okay, so Mike, could you share back the deck again? The last thing we'll talk about is Reflect. So hope all of you are trying out and using Reflect. It's a great tool for social emotional learning. Now, we do know that not all schools have kind of one-to-one devices, or they want to do some more kind of an analog way of doing it. And so in the latest version, Reflect, we added ability to add these things as actually stickers and cards. So you go to Reflect, you can print out the kit from Reflect itself. And that will give you a set of stickers that you can tag to each student in your class. And then you can make a sticker board in your classroom, have the students basically give their emotions, as they say, but not their name, but basically their animal in this case here. And once you have done that work, you can take a picture with your camera and automatically add it to the system again. So it's a great way to make that kind of physical connection with the students, but also have the ability to get that all the data directly into Reflect as well. And with that, I think I'm back to Mike, right?
Yes, we're going to hand it off to Mina Spasic, coming from Belgrade, Serbia, who's also a product manager on the education team. And this is the first time she's joining our webinars. So Mina, we can let you take control.
Hi, folks. So I'm here to talk about the Math Assistant, which some of you might have used in the past in OneNote for Windows 10 and OneNote Online. Today I'm here to talk about the new and improved Math Assistant that's available in OneNote Desktop and OneNote for iPad, and namely the new old features that we've brought to the new apps, graphing, key graph features, and practice math. So I will start sharing my screen to show you a few examples of this. Just give me a second. Someone please let me know if you're seeing my screen.
You can see it.
Okay, thanks. So the first example that I want to show you is a function that we can graph. So heading Math Assistant up here, we can see our interpretation of your handwriting. I can choose to graph this equation. So I do see a 2D graph, and I can read off values from this graph. What I can also do is understand key graph features or properties of this graph, and I can choose to show them on the graph as well by pressing this button. So then you can see these being drawn here. You can also see the description of what this really means. And you can also change the style of these points. So zeros would have a circle, and then minimum maximum would have triangles here. If I go for an equation instead of a function here, you will still be able to see the graph of this, but you will see both sides of the equation graphed separately, and you will also see the solution. So if I turn off the solution, you can view both of these sides of the equation on the same graph. And then similarly to what I showed you earlier, you can also change the style of lines so that the color is not the only way to distinguish between these two. I can also turn the solution back on, and it shows me the intersection points for these two, which are actually the solutions to the equation. And the final bit that I wanted to show you is related to the practice math feature, sorry, formerly known as practice math quiz in Math Assistant. So if you are working on equations and you want to solve this equation, you can also go ahead and practice with additional equations once you're happy with this solution. So what happens here is you get additional problems of the same type to practice on and do an immediate check. So if I got this incorrectly, I can actually see steps to get to the correct solution. Pressing next gives me some more problems to practice on. And then once I am happy with my work, I can go to finish practice, which gives me a summary of my performance on this, so I can go back and do more practice or go back to the Math Assistant to work on different problems. And I think that is all I had to show you guys for today.
So for those of you that are fans of Immersive Reader, we recently rolled out Immersive Reader in Excel for the web. That means you can now select text like this, go to the View tab and click Immersive Reader, and you will get the full glorious Immersive Reader that you know and love, that you can do all the things, change the background colors, line focus, translate to 116 languages. That has fully rolled out, so I encourage people to check that out in Excel for the web. There's also some really great stream updates that were recently announced, and these are in the process of rolling out. The screen recorder, you can now record your screen, new recording, upload existing, and then you can also add favorites. So you can now have favorites in stream, which is nice. One of my personal favorites is the teleprompter view. This uses the Flipgrid camera, and you can turn on a teleprompter. So you can put in any text you want. Think about students recording out loud. They can now have that teleprompter running. You can even control the speed of it, which is really cool. And then one of the last ones, this also comes from the Flip camera. All the backgrounds, all the fun, and the blurring, etc., all that goes into your screen and camera recording, and that's going to be built into Flip as well. And so with that, we're going to move on to Q&A. And I had I'm going to answer a couple that were submitted ahead of time. One asked about the timeline for the new teams. I put that in the chat, but I will reiterate. It is in not private, I guess it is beta preview right now with our top customers. So it's a very limited set. It will be available in fall to turn on if you would like. It will not default to the new user interface, so it'll stick on the old user interface. But for tenants that want to enable the new one, that will be out in fall. By January of 2024, it'll start defaulting to the new one, but you can turn it back off to the old one. So the default setting will be new, but you can turn it off. And then by June or late June, at the end of the school year, Western Hemisphere of 2024, that's when it will default on, and there's no going back to the old user interface. So it's going to be a stage rollout, and you should have plenty of time to decide which kind of direction you want to go. Another question is about Parents Connected, and it says, my IT team is reluctant to add the school connector, but they said because all the emails and the SIS are messed up, which can happen. And they're asking, can the teachers just type in the parent email to receive the weekly digest like they can in Google Classroom? So that's something we're actively looking at. I can't commit to it right now, but we have heard that request to be able to easily just add those parent emails in and send out the updates in the digest. So that's something we're hoping to do in the future, but can't commit to it right now. Another question, when will Stream on SharePoint videos be able to be embedded in OneNote? Yes, that is kind of a bummer. The brand new Stream videos can't get that live thumbnail embedding in OneNote right now. Both the Stream team and the OneNote team are aware of this, and they're actively looking at that, and they're planning on when to re-enable it. I don't have a date, but it's well on the radars of both teams, and so that's something that's actively being looked at and considered. And then here's one maybe Sam, you can answer. It says, we love the Classwork feature to organize materials for the teacher and students, one of our preview testers. Are there plans to add completion rules to Classwork?
So I would say we're actively taking feedback on kind of the next features that we're going to do. As I think we've mentioned in this chat and Q&A, the next things that we're working on are making sure that you can reuse those modules and all of your classwork content. But our roadmap from there is we're looking for feedback from you all. So we've heard things like start and end dates, completion rules, which I assume means like completing one module before another one unlocks. We'd love to hear from you all about the use cases. So no firm plans or commitments yet, but please get in touch with me. I've dropped my email in the chat if you want to provide any feedback on Classwork the next features.
Oh, in Leif, it looks like Douglas Potter is waiting on the API for Classwork. Oh, and Samantha too. That's being actively worked on, I believe, right?
It is. We had it's the coding is done for the API. We're really excited to release that. We just ran into a little bit of an internal blocker, but that will be out as soon as we possibly can. So yes, we are also really excited to get the APIs out there for Classwork.
Yeah, it should be
Great.
It should be out once we get the Classwork to GA, basically. Is I think the current rule.
Yeah. And Classwork GA is currently planned for this summer. So we'll give more updates as that gets closer. Completion rules.
Sam,
Okay.
Debbie asked, what if a teacher wants to keep updating the module after I have published?
Great question, Debbie. So you absolutely can. You can add more resources, you can rearrange the resources, you can delete resources, you can edit the title and description. You can completely edit it even after it's published, and those edits will then update for students. The only action you can't do is unpublish. So you'll just be kind of making those edits in real time. You can also delete the whole module, but yeah, you can absolutely continue to edit, update, and rearrange things after you've published it to students.
Mina, there's a question about math in the Q&A. Basically, is hey, I love the math tools, but can I disable it in Class Notebook for a period of time?
Yes, Leif, I just added the response to that one. The short answer is yes, you can do that. If you're a teacher and you open a class notebook that you own, you can go to Math Assistant and Settings, and there will be options for you to turn the Math Assistant or some parts of it off for your class.
Yes, indeed.
Awesome.
I remember when we added that feature based on teacher feedback.